it's wet, it's slippery. That means there's going to be mistakes. That means the defenders are prone to these type of errors. And for me, for an offensive player, you can capitalize on said mistakes.
Well, of course, keep Portland weird is the theme of the city. We had a lot of fun this weekend. You're going to get to see it all. We went to Comic-Con. Yes, there's a Comic-Con this weekend happening at the Oregon Convention Center. We got a special feature for you a little bit later on. And of course, we're going to talk with Diego Chara, someone who's been with the Portland Timbers since the very beginning. Someone who's very familiar with conditions like these, though, is Wayne Rooney. And of course, all eyes are on him no matter where he goes. The DC United striker will be playing in the game today. What do you make of Wayne Rooney's season this year in MLS?
I'm going to go overall, not just season. Overall, I'm going to give it a B+ as far as the Wayne Rooney signing. There were a lot of people who criticized Wayne Rooney. One of those, our good friend here at ESPN, Sebastian Salazar, who said it didn't speak to the DC community. Well, he's been all of the above. He's been a great, outstanding player for DC. He's brought it in marketing-wise. He's helped them launch that new stadium, Audi Field. But they haven't put in enough pieces around him. They haven't helped Wayne Rooney. If you're asking me if Wayne Rooney's been a success in MLS, I would say yes. The only thing he lacks right now is having DC United win that MLS Cup.
Well, certainly in asking him off camera, he's certainly focused on winning that championship. Of course, first they're going to have to get into the playoffs, but Wayne Rooney did have a chance to sit down with our own Jon Champion, and here's what he had to say. We're going to get to that in just a little bit, actually. Let's continue talking about Wayne Rooney. You mentioned some of the pieces necessarily not around him as of yet, but he certainly, it doesn't seem like particularly gelling with some of his midfielders, perhaps getting those opportunities.
Yeah, and that's all because Luciano Costa hasn't played that much this year. He's either been in the doghouse because after that non-sell to PSG, that rumored sell to PSG didn't go through. It almost seemed like he went down, and that was his main duo last season. That was the guy who made him play, who made him tick. They were on fire. But we look at what Wayne Rooney has done, the highlight reel moments throughout his MLS career, the brief career, that play on Will Johnson where he takes the ball, he slide tackles, and then a 40-yard ball to Luciano Costa to win it in overtime versus Orlando. Orlando again, the 60-yard bomb he drops on Orlando this season. Wayne Rooney has that type of air about him. He's that type of player. But you need to put players around him that can help him be a better player, because he makes these players better, but who makes Wayne Rooney better?
He also has opinions about the league and how it can improve, as he told our own Jon Champion.
Wayne, so you do get a chance to play an MLS game at Providence Park, which is renowned for its atmosphere, but I hadn't realised you're a familiar figure in Portland over the years.
Yeah, I've been here quite a lot. Obviously come over with the Nike headquarters and done a lot of work with them over here. I come over here once when I was injured at Manchester United to train for 2 weeks as well. So I've been here quite a few times. Yeah.
So you'll be aware of the grip that the sport of football, soccer, has on this city.
Yeah, I think you can see in the games when they play at home, the atmosphere. It looks fantastic, and obviously some of my teammates tell me about the atmosphere here, so no, I'm really looking forward to the game.
Yeah. Has it been more difficult for you in your second season in that more of your opponents are more aware of what it takes to play against you directly?
Not really. I think the difference is last season we played with a lot of confidence in terms of we had nothing to lose. We went into games, we obviously had a lot of home games, and we played with a lot of confidence in terms of building results and having that push to make the playoffs. So I think this year it's been, from a team's point of view, a bit more inconsistent. But we've been, for a long time, for all season we've been in playoff spots. So I think that's the league. It is quite inconsistent, and I think the teams who can manage to get a few wins on the bounce will have a great chance of making playoffs.
And summers can feel very long in MLS. Your head coach Ben Olsen talks about the funk of summer that teams can slip into. Is that how you feel about this particular summer?
No, I think if what you're referring to is I've missed a few games. Obviously I've had the move to Derby County, which is coming up at the end of the season. Then, of course, it's been different to last summer. But that's I missed 2 games with obviously a red card, which I don't think was a red card, and I missed a game with illness. So it's part of football, and yeah, I'm looking forward to getting back on the pitch after obviously played a friendly game last week, but after not playing for a few weeks in the league.
And you'll be aware that this collective bargaining agreement is coming up in the new year, which is a reset button for the terms and conditions under which players perform in MLS. If you were a union leader, what would your headline things be that you would be going to the owners of the teams and to MLS and saying, look, for this league to get better, we need these things?
It's obviously not an easy one. There's a few things, but I think the flight issues in terms of you get so many charter flights. I believe if teams want to charter flights, they should be allowed to charter as many as they want. It should be down to the teams to do what they want on that. I believe, in particular, the American players get underpaid. I feel they deserve to get more money in terms of to stay in line with football in the rest of the world, but also in terms of the American sports.
You'll be making a few friends amongst American footballers by saying that, Wayne.
No, I'm not saying it to benefit me, and obviously I won't be in this league next season, but I feel it's only fair to them players who are putting the same work in as we all are, to have a right to earn more money for doing it.
Interesting answer there from Wayne Rooney, Herc, about the American players getting paid and just the whole negotiation about the CBA, the way John asked that question. What would your points be if you were part of those negotiations?
A lot of players nowadays, we're hearing about the chartered flights. Don't worry about the chartered flights. Concentrate on getting the salary cap to go higher. Get rid of GAM, TAM, get rid of all these mechanisms that keep throwing on you. Increase the funds you have at your disposal. TAM, what it does, it helps the foreign product. It helps players coming in from abroad, come into MLS and get paid. It doesn't necessarily help the domestic player. Get rid of that. Increase the salary cap. You're going to get better teams, better players, better situations for all Major League players.
Well, we're going to increase our analysis of this game, DC United taking on Portland Timbers. Let's send it upstairs to the gentleman that'll be calling the action at 12:30 Eastern on ESPN, Taylor Twellman and Jon Champion. Gentlemen.
Yeah, thank you. We were just listening into that Wayne Rooney interview.
Enthralling, to say the least. Well done. You got a lot out of him, by the way.
He had some interesting things to say, and it's also interesting to me that he's thought it through, because that's not something that he's renowned for doing necessarily. But I think with maturity is coming a more thoughtful process. Yeah. He has been reflecting, he was telling me, in the last few weeks on his experience here in the United States. And one of those things he came out with was that line that he thinks American players are grossly underpaid in Major League Soccer. So what's your reading of that?
Well, I also find it to be a little bit of a departing gift from Wayne Rooney, because he's departing Major League Soccer, and he's obviously been very close with some of the American players within the DC United locker room. So I think he's trying to do anything he can, for lack of a better word, and it's the wrong word, but to rectify the situation of leaving them empty-handed, even though he's not. The season's going to be over here in Major League Soccer, but he is leaving. He's not fulfilling the entire contract. I mean, does he have a point? Absolutely. But I think that's more of a CBA conversation that, quite honestly, Wayne Rooney is not going to be part of. But I did find it interesting that sitting with you, who you've known him since he was 16, that he went there, even though you asked the question, he went there. I did find that a little surprising.
Yeah, I was also taken by the fact I asked him the question about the funk, Ben Olsen's favourite word, the funk of midsummer in Major League Soccer, where your team enters a bit of a trough and it's difficult to get them out of it. Yep. And I asked him the question about that funk, meaning what about the team? And he took it on himself as if it was a personal question about his form. So I did some digging of his last 14 Major League Soccer appearances. Yes. DC United have won just 2 games. He's scored 1 goal in open play in 3 months.
Well, and he should take the brunt of it, because quite honestly, you knew what Lucha Acosta's situation was going to be coming into the year. So Wayne Rooney, when you are the designated player coming in, the savior, so to speak, of the rebranding with the new stadium and the new training facility and a USL team and all DC United has tried to do over the last 18 months, I understand that. He's only got 1 goal since July 1st, John. That says it in a nutshell. And then he announces he's going to Derby County. He doesn't play well in Vancouver. The TMZ stuff comes out, and then he follows that with the ridiculous red card against the New York Red Bulls. I do think he's got a little pressure on himself. And for the viewers at home, he wasn't supposed to start today. Ola Kamara, tight hamstring, he comes in. I think you're going to see a Wayne Rooney with a chip on his shoulder trying to prove something with 4 games remaining in the regular season.
Yeah, I asked Ben Olsen, the head coach, last night whether he'd actually got to the stage of telling Rooney he wasn't going to be starting And he said, yes, Wayne took it well. He's not at a stage of his career where he's going to argue about things like that. He recognises that ideally I would have wanted to keep an unchanged team because we played well in Montreal.
Yeah, and part of that unchanged team is Knaus playing as a right back, John. You look at Knaus at right back, he's not going to bomb forward. He's going to make sure that when Segura makes those penetrating runs, Rodriguez, Moro is going to try to overlap. At times when Ben Olsen's DC United attacks, because Arriola has the freedom to run forward, this may look at three in the back with Knaus playing as that right center back. I like the move. I think Ola Kamara coming into this team when healthy makes them a little bit more dynamic. But the question for Ben Olsen is when it's all said and done and everyone's healthy, where does Wayne Rooney fit in that lineup? I think he plays Arriola's role, but I'm not so sure because Ola Kamara and Arriola are younger, more mobile. It'll be interesting to see what role Wayne Rooney plays at the end of the year.
Okay, well, let's switch the focus to the host today, the Timbers. Couple of significant absentees for them today. No Brian Fernandez. We were almost sure he was going to be fit today. He had a stomach virus. He was ill. He came off the bench for the last 20 minutes, scored a 94th minute winner against SKC last week, but he tried to train this week, still feels ill, isn't ready. And Sebastian Blanco also taking longer than expected to recover from a calf problem.
Yeah, and Blanco also becoming a newly father as well, and that's being a part of this. I like the way Giovanni Savarese has lined up this team, and you look at it right away, you say no Fernandez, so what is Diego Valeri? Diego Valeri is going to play as a false number 9. He's got the freedom to drop into the midfield. He's got freedom to push high. Abobasi, Laria. I still think for the Portland Timbers, at the end of the year, they've got to be able to find a way to play Abobasi and Fernandez on the field from the onset because they're a one-trick pony right now, and with both players on the field when they're healthy, they're not. But John, keep an eye on Tui Loma, Dielna, Villafana, and Maria. This is now the 3rd straight game that back four has played together. They've won their last 2 outings.
And I just wonder, what's the main emphasis from Portland mindset-wise at the moment? They've got games in hand on most of their rivals in the Western Conference, which is so tight because 4 points cover 7 teams. So is their emphasis to try and secure a home playoff or just initially to secure a playoff place at all?
Yeah, when you look at these Western Conference standings, credit to Real Salt Lake with the drama around Mike Pecky and how they've still stayed on the course, but you said it best. You've got 6 games left. You've got all those games in hand. Giovanni Savarese and his staff, Miles Joseph, Carlos Shimosa, and even Galvin Wilkinson look at this and say, wait a minute, we should be the number 2 seed if we finish the season out the way we should with all the home games. But they're going to have to go on the road with that last, but the game right before the last game of the regular season. That's going to be a difficult test because that may be LA Galaxy, Sporting Kansas City, big one tonight. But I look at this for the Portland Timbers. They should be the 2nd seed and they should be hosting a playoff game, but they haven't been as convincing at home as I think they should have been. It's going to be interesting to see what we see over the next 6 weeks.
Yeah, 3 home defeats, which are reasonably rare at Providence Park, but 3 since they've returned to the newly refurbished arena here with all its splendour. Slightly different today as well. We should just make this point, Arda. It's been raining fairly hard, as you commented at the top of your show, and that does tend to subdue the atmosphere a little bit here as well. So it'll be fascinating to see whether we get a rip-roaring game or whether it is slightly quiet and subdued. We'll find out pretty shortly now.
Yeah, it definitely is raining. Thank goodness we have this tent above us. By the way, it's 12:30 Pacific, 3:30 Eastern on ESPN. John and Taylor will have the call also on ESPN Deportes. 2nd seed for Portland Timbers, do you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. And we got Jorge Villafana here. Let's ask him about it.
Hey, let's go. Jorge Villafana coming in. Go ahead, right here.
How you doing, Jorge?
How are you?
How are you? Good, good. So you guys have 5 of the next 6 games at home. You're chasing that 2nd seed. LAFC is gone. Can you do it?
Yeah, of course. It's in our hands. Like you said, we have almost all the games at home, so it's up to us to get as much points as possible, and the results have gone our ways. In these past games, the teams have always lost some points, and it's up to us to make that jump on the table.
No Brian Fernandez in the starting lineup. How do you replace those 11 league goals?
Yeah, I mean, of course, a good player for us, a dangerous player, but we have players on top too that can do some damage. So, I mean, we count on everyone, and everyone that steps in has done the job. So I think they're going to do really well.
5 games in 15 days for you coming up. What do you say to the team, and what does the team say in the locker room to stay motivated?
Yeah, it's a tough schedule, but like I said, we have depth, and we have shown it with the injuries. We have had a lot of injuries on the team, and we have shown that we can play through it. So I think everyone has to be ready, and it's up to us for now. Yep.
Who are some of the players, you mentioned those injuries, who are some of the players that you looked at and say, you know what, good on you for stepping up here in this time of need?
Yeah, I mean, you see Maviala, then Clara step up, and then Hernandez has been on and off, and then Loria has been there, Now Eric Williamson played last game. He did a great job. He's rewarded again, so I hope he has a great game again.
All right. Thank you very much. We'll let you get to it.
Okay. Take care.
There you go. Thank you. There you go. In and out live. And while we have some players coming in, I believe Paul Arriola is walking right to us right now from DC United. So let's get things on the other side here. Paul Arriola. I think you guys are buddies. I think you guys know each other. What was the coach maybe?
I met him before.
Yeah, just a little bit. What was that like? What was he like as a coach?
Well, first of all, he was amazing. He was even better as a as a teammate. He was amazing. Even better than being a teammate, he was even better as a roommate.
Yeah, we were roommates.
Oh,
It was great.
okay.
Let's talk about your move from Liga MX to DC United. One of the things that you had said when you got here was you wanted to be more productive and you wanted more end product. You've gotten that this season, whether you've been playing as a second forward, on the right, as an outside back. What has changed?
Yeah, I think obviously just growing up, maturing a little bit, a little more experience, and you know, the help of the coaches that I've had and the teammates that I've had. Obviously, being in a team that you're constantly on the field and producing, it gives you confidence. And I think right now we're flying with some confidence that we're coming off of Montreal. So it's important to keep that going. Whether it's me or someone else on the team, you know, getting the win is the most important.
So obviously you've been to the team since 2017. Having Wayne Rooney join the team, of course, will add some eyeballs to the team and whatnot. How do you guys keep all of that in check?
Yeah, you know, obviously Wayne is a great player. He's been a great addition for us. Leaving now, you know, it's not too much of a worry for us. Obviously, we try and live in the present as footballers, and you know, game to game is the most important right now. You know, the Eastern Conference is extremely tight, and we need a win. You know, that's the most important thing. You know, going off of that, and the way that Wayne has been great for us.
Last question from me. Coming into this environment, Portland, of course, one of the most boisterous fan bases in the league. How do you guys prepare for that?
Yeah, I mean, you know, you really only prepare when you've been here before, and you know what to expect, and you know, it's a great place to play. It's, you know, this is the type of environment that we want to play in every day, every game, every weekend. So, you know, I'm excited. I think the team's excited for a good result today.
Okay.
Russell Canute's playing right back today for you guys. Is there anything you're looking for Portland on left-hand side that you worry about?
You know, obviously they're a great attacking team regardless of who's on the field. I think it's important for us just to focus on what we're doing. Russell had a great game against Montreal, and I think he's going to have another great one today.
All right, Paul, thank you very much for your time. Next time, let us know what he was like as a roommate.
I'll let you know.
Take care.
All right, so let's get to some more players. Actually, yesterday we went to the Portland Timbers training facility and had a chance to talk with somebody who's been with the Portland Timbers since the very first season in MLS, Diego Chara. Check it out. Arda Ocal for ESPN. We are here at the Portland Timbers training facility with Diego Chara, the longest tenured Timbers player. This season's been crazy for you guys. You know, that long road trip to start. You guys are going to be playing 12 games in 2 months. Has this been the most grueling season for you as a Timbers player?
For me, yes. I think at the beginning of the season was a little bit tough, but I think after we played the first game at home, we're getting better, getting confidence, and now we have a great opportunity to be in playoff.
So when you came here, how long did it take for you to feel like Portland was home?
It was about 2 or 3 years with the language and everything, and maybe not communicate well with the people. But after 3 years, Portland was like a home.
So Diego, we always see these challenges with soccer players, right, where they kick the ball from distance and they always hit the crossbar with this precision. And whenever I see this, I always feel like it takes 100 takes, but I feel like you're going to prove me wrong, right? I want to do this challenge with you, and I feel like you're going to get it on like the first or second try. Can we try this?
Some players are very, very good in those challenges, and I think I'm one of those players.
Okay, let's give it a shot. We're going crossbar. All right, here we go. Shot number 1, Diego Chara, and we're just warming up. Yep. And there it is. Only took 2 tries. We got 1, but I think we want to give you a little bit of inspiration for our next one. Right in the middle. What do you think of that right there?
I'm not sure, but I think it's Herculez Gomez.
Yeah, it's may or may not be my broadcast colleague on MLS Countdown Live.
He's a good player. He was a good player, and now the chance to maybe hit a little bit.
Aim for the pearly whites, Diego. Oh, aim for the pearly whites. Oh, nailed it. Sorry, Herc. So do you want to keep this, Herc, or?
I'm actually going to sign it for Diego, to my dearest Diego, and I'll sign it for him. By the way, Diego Chara, one of the better players this league has ever seen. Top 3 players in that position: Ozzy Alonso, Charlie Joseph, and Diego Chara. So I'm going to sign it for you, Diego.
Very nice guy as well, actually.
Respect this legend that is Diego.
There you go. Well, we'll give this to the Portland Timbers staff so it can get right to Diego Chara. We'll pass this along there. Speaking of characters, guess what? Comic-Con is happening this weekend. And of course, you know the intersection between comic book fan and soccer fan is huge. The Venn diagram is massive. Of course, that's a great merger, right?
Especially in Portland.
Yeah, maybe not. But we did go to Comic-Con to ask people what makes Portland weird as a city and maybe get their thoughts on Wayne Rooney leaving DC United. Some very funny answers there. All right, Captain America's in the house. So why Captain America?
Well, why not Captain America? But, you know, just got to make the kids smile, right?
So what are you?
I'm Reptar from Rugrats.
Hey, look, we found Charlie Brown. How about that?
I'm the Iron Spider.
Yeah?
From Infinity War and Avengers Endgame.
In your opinion, what makes Portland weird?
Portland it's weird, but in an awesome way.
The fact that most of these people probably dress up like this on a Tuesday and just wander the streets is part of the reason why Portland's weird.
What makes Portland weird?
I don't know, from Seattle.
It's the best city to be yourself in, by far.
So what does Captain America have to say about Wayne Rooney leaving the United States?
Wayne, why go, man? Stars and stripes, we need you, buddy.
What are your thoughts on Wayne Rooney leaving DC United?
Well, I'm all about Marvel, so I know nothing about DC United. I'm all about the Marvel side, Marvel Comics.
I see what he did there.
If he's leaving DC, if we're doing comics in DC, he can join Marvel and he'll be fine.
I have no clue who that is. I am a geek.
We have a huge matchup here between the battle of the bots. R2 has the ball. R2 has a clear way to the net, and BB8 looking to stop it. Great defending there by BB8. R2 all by himself. Scores! R2 wins the game! If this version of Spider-Man was a soccer player and Spider-Man just scored a goal, what would the goal celebration be? What is Nick Fury's soccer goal celebration?
So I'd kick the goal, and then...
We don't really celebrate, because that's our job. So all we would do is we do the Mandalorian salute.
It's very respectful. I like it. The weapon of choice here, which is very nice, while our Mandalorian juggles. As you know, Mandalorians are very official. Oh, that's... we'll count that as about 4 or 5.
That's one. Yeah.
That's a handball, actually. That's a handball.
Kapow!
And, oh, that's not bad. Nice. That was good air, though. The tentacles almost got into the mix there, too. Good job. Yeah, round of applause for Spider-Man. Good job. Yeah, good. Very good. You know this is coming.
Yeah.
Can I do it?
Fine.
All I want you to do is juggle the ball.
Hulk smash.
Lou Ferrigno?
Yeah, shout out to Lou Ferrigno for being a part of our segment.
Unbelievable. That was the Hulk.
He was a good sport.
Unbelievable.
The original Hulk, in fact. You're going to need to be a Hulk to deal with this weather today, I got to tell you, because this is not fun. I'm freezing right now.
You can tell who's from Canada, right?
That's right, yeah. Thank you, Rudy, on Twitter for letting us know. You can definitely tell without the with the sleeves
listen,
there.
You're crazy, and so are these fans for coming out, and they're going to pack this venue. It's cold, it's rainy, it's wet, but there's not going to be an empty seat in this place.
Speaking of crazy, Portland's schedule, of course, they had that immense road trip as renovations were happening here at Providence Park, and they have 5 games in 15 days. Put us into that locker room, Herc. What are these players saying?
5 games, 15 days. That means you're playing a game every 3 days. Recovery is crucial. The way you tend to yourself after these sessions, after the games, how you take care of your body. It's crunch time right now. You always hear players and coaches talk about the dog days of MLS, the summer, these summer stretches where you're going to go into these funks, where you go into these just batches of bad luck or run of form. Oh, it's right now that really makes a difference, is how you go into this playoff, because I've seen it so many times from MLS existence. The team that starts off hot isn't always the team that lifts up the trophy. It's the team that ends hot. So 5 games that you have coming up, 6 games total with today, 5 of them are at home. If you can pick up these points with which you would so hope to see if you're a Portland fan. They should be able to pick up at home with the support you have. That's 15 points. That more than secures the number 2 spot for you in the West, a very tight West. Look at the Galaxy. They're on the outside looking in, and they're 4 points from Real Salt Lake, who's in second place right now.
Brian Fernandez not in the lineup for Portland due to illness. John and Taylor talked about the formations, the lineups there. What did you make of it?
Brian Fernandez not being here is a massive blow. If there's one player in Major League Soccer who's come in and really made an impression on and off the field, it's Brian Fernandez. His ability off the ball, his movement, his keen sense of goal. When he's not on the field, that's one less player to keep an eye on. And if you're now, that increases the pressure on what is Diego Valeri and Jeremy Ebobisse. If you're Jeremy Ebobisse, you rely on service. Get him service. He's second in header goals in Major League Soccer behind Zlatan. He has 4, Zlatan has 7. That means he relies on service. Today has to be about servicing those players and about getting Diego Valeri the ball. If you have playmakers in this league, like a Wayne Rooney, Diego Valeri, you need to get them the ball. Diego Valeri's 16 assists. Let him have the stone, let him have the rock, let him do what he does.
Let's talk DC United here. We have 2 minutes left in the show here. Wayne Rooney is starting here. Ola Kamara not playing due to precautions. He had a great game, 2 goals against Montreal Impact. But when both of them are healthy, do you see any formation changes such that they will both be on the pitch at the same time?
Well, we heard Taylor alluding to maybe Paul Arriola leaving that spot and that being Wayne Rooney's and Kamara being the guy, the sole 9. I think that's what should happen. Kamara is that 9 type of player. He's not a huge post-up player. He does very well getting in behind spaces, finding open spaces within the box. And then you already saw his first goal for DC United was spectacular. Outside the box, curling effort in the upper 90. He's a goal scorer. That's what he does. Wayne Rooney now has somebody to play off him. Luciano Costa, he's been in and out of lineups all season. He hasn't been the same player he was last year. Arriola's been a lot better on that right-hand flank and getting on the end of product, end of service, and being more of an end product. But Wayne Rooney has to be the guy here. He has to be the man. It can't be Ola Kamara. It can't be Paul Arriola. It can't be Luciano Costa. If DC United wants to be successful, it has to come with Wayne Rooney. He has to take this team, put him on his shoulders.
30 seconds left. Let's talk success points for Portland and for DC. What are they looking for the most in this matchup?
Well, if you're Portland, you need to take advantage of this home situation. The great atmosphere, the crowd, the turf. Regardless of what players say or coaches say, the turf does matter. Wet conditions, use that to your favor. You're used to this. DC United, on the other hand, they've only won once in this venue. If you can't win, you need to pick up a road point. You need to be sound. You need to be systematically better than you've been. They won against Montreal, but before that, it was a 3-game losing streak. They need to go back to winning ways in the East, which is also very competitive at this point.
That does it here for us. Thank you very much for watching MLS Countdown Line. Taylor Twellman and Jon Champion have the call, 12:30. Head on over to ESPN right now. It is the Portland Timbers taking on DC United. Thanks for watching.